into Wonderland's go like, oh, there it is. Right, it's a bit slow tonight, so people are probably hearing me say it's a bit slow tonight, but
yeah,
these things happen. So
I know why it's
Jenny,
slow.
Why?
Because Microsoft forced 2 updates and it's trashed it.
Yeah.
Well, look, a big hello to everybody. Great to see you.
If you go up to the loft today,
song.
you're sure of a big surprise. If you go up to the loft today, you'll never believe your eyes. For every train there ever was has gathered there together because today's the day that Jenny does the Monday Club. Yay!
Hi there, everyone.
Right,
Welcome. Actually, could you make the text ever so slightly bigger? I'm just suddenly realised I can't read it properly.
Yeah, the update has changed the sizes as well.
Yeah, oh, there we go. Well, look. Hi there, everyone. It's great to see you. Hope I find you well. Now, the cupboard monkey is just going off for a nap because she has been pulling an all-nighter. So she will be back for when we show some of your videos and pictures. Don't fear. I'd also like to thank George Botterini, who has very, very generously donated $9.99. Thank you ever so much for that. And also, I think it's Simon Trains. It's gone off the top of the screen, I'm afraid. Simon Trains.
Why don't you just scroll back?
Oh, that would be too easy. But I'm just trying to find so I can thank people. Just give me one moment. Gosh, you lot know how to talk, don't you? Simon Trains Model Railway Showcase very, very kindly donated £5 on the super chat. And it says, evening Jenny and Zoe, hope you're feeling better after last week. Looking forward to tonight's Monday Club. Absolutely, thank you very much. A lot of people have been sending their best wishes. I do feel a lot better this week, it has to be said. Not 100%, but certainly not down there as absolutely wrecked as I felt last week. And I don't normally call off a Monday Club. It's very, very rare that I do. But look, a big, big thank you and hello to Southern Train Girl, Tony Wright, Patrick Ling, Richard Swiderski, Ruben Ashwell, Ham Shackleton, Mel's, George, David Scott, Warbler Productions, Clive Cobold. Let's see, who else have we got? Tim's Model Railway in different videos, Blackpool Steve. Just trying to make sure I don't miss anybody out. Ian White, Egg Rider, John Nelson, Model Railway Noob, Manthony 1956, 156 Andrew, Melchester Model Railway, Evan Terry, Tony Wright, B2000 RO Toys Channel, Ridgeway Park 00, Twin Tail Productions, / Avery, Ben Tullett, John Cook, Vobert Becking, Ohio, Steam and Steel, Paul Shepherd, Skipsy Trains, George Hanning, and oh my word, gosh, Robert Steers has very, very kindly donated on the super chat as well, $9.99 for the Locomotive Fund. Thank you ever so much. That's incredibly generous of you. Thank you so much. Alex Dent, Dongett's Model Railway, David J, Mike Finch, Flint Hills Model Railway, Jeff Hammond, Nick, it's just like whoop, Nick Gorelamu, The Unfamiliar Terrier 48, Malcolm Moore, Robin Silua, Stefan Svensson, Wamgok, Kev McKay 85, John Murray, Barry Turner, Crossroads Point Junction, AFD Comp, and it's really great to see you all. Hope I find you well. Brian Harper says hi all from YQX in Canada. Not sure where YQX is. Breezer 707, a big hello to you as well. And we've also got Forever DC 302 as well. So, right, anyway, on with the news. What is new in the model railway world? Well, probably one of the fastest selling main range releases that I've ever seen so far has been the EFE Rail 02s. Now, these and not a new model. They've been released a couple of times actually through Kernow Model Centre. Originally a Kernow Model Centre special release. They've then subsequently had a release in the EFE Rail range. 3 different versions. One in Munsell Green as a mainland version, and then 2 as Isle of Wight versions in a malachite green, one with Southern Sunshine lettering on the side and the other one with British Railways in Southern Sunshine lettering. Now, the Isle of Wight ones have just sold straight out. There's also the Isle of Wight Steam Railway. Did a special commission of yet another version of the Isle of Wight O2s. That is selling very, very well, and quite frankly it just seems to have sold out everywhere. So much so that I have been unable to get an O2, and partly not helped by the fact that I bought a BT well tank the week before, in fact about 4 days before the O2s appeared. Trust my incredible timing, but it was a BT well tank that I really, really wanted. But anyway, that O2 looks to be another excellent model, as long as you don't get the same delivery that Sam's Train seems to get. His run of bad luck has continued with that model, but certainly everybody else is saying that it is a really great model, and certainly it was well received when Kernow Model Centre got theirs. David, it's My Model Railway announces as well, reminds us as well, Bachmann just put out a YouTube video for their 009 scale Quarry Hunslets. Yeah, the boys from BRM have been down, and they were part of the highlight of that video. Certainly, there wasn't a huge amount of information. They weren't allowed to prod or poke too much, so there's still a few unanswered questions in terms of whether the toolbox that Britomart has on her running plate is removable or not. We're not quite sure. We've not got any confirmation on that. Egg Rider says, my Facebook feed just showed me a really great looking US outline steamer, the Pennsylvania Road Class T1 4444, and that's not a stutter. That's quite a big locomotive, worth a Google image search just to see the shape. Flint Hills Model Railway, Jeff Hammond says YQX Canada is Gander International Airport in Newfoundland. Aha! B2000RO Toys channel says Sam's Trains bought that loco. I know, yeah, and he does seem to get all the bad luck. Every single model he seems to buy pretty much does seem to have a problem. If I was him, I'd be moving to another model shop to buy them from that tested them beforehand, because he does seem to get a lot of problems with his models. Melchester Model Railway says the wheels don't move together due to the coupling rods. I know that the BT well tank has a very interesting mechanism where the driving wheels are geared together, as far as I can tell, which means that the coupling rods are purely cosmetic. Now, this can be an issue if they get the gears meshed wrong, which sounds to me like a couple of people may have some issues with the O2, but by and large I've seen favourable feedback on that. Right, Matt Hovell says 18,000's due in September. Absolutely, as far as I'm aware, they are on the boat, and other models that are on the boat as well. I have seen that from Bachmann. Special commissions such as the improved precedents and, of course, the Cali 812s are shown as being en route. Big thank you to Hythe Kent, who has very, very kindly donated £4.49 on the super chat. It says, why does my Hornby Railroad Flying Scotsman 2020 lurch at startup and spark on points? Any advice? Now that sounds, well, certainly the lurch on startup sounds like a possibly a back EMF issue with the decoder. Now, I know that if you put a Hornby decoder in a Bachmann loco, you have to change a couple of CV settings, and it's possibly the same depending on which brand of decoder you're using. Sparking on points would suggest that there is some kind of shorting image in terms of back-to-backs on wheels, touching bits where they shouldn't. That tends to happen if you're using electrofrog points on DCC. Now, 57305 Northern Princess says, "Hey Jen, I've been tempted to model the locomotive used for Mission Impossible 7 filming as it looked quite nice. Up until they crashed it into the quarry." Yes, and there's a lot of videos going around on YouTube. Unfortunately, I was talking actually with the Cupboard Monkey earlier on. If you get a viral video, it seems an awful lot of freeloaders then try and steal your video and put it up and pass it off as their own, usually cutting out watermarks and stuff. So it's very hard to find what the original videos were, but certainly they're all over YouTube. But I always say, do try and find the original. Don't support the people stealing other people's video copyright. Ohio Steam and Steel says, "Hornby APT on the boat, I hope." Absolutely. There's a lot of stuff on their way in. Houston WHAP, hello to you. The September 2021 Hornby magazine is a bumper pack with model railway puzzle book and BR standards at 70. Well worth getting. And Gamehammer Classic Gaming says, "Jenny, what have you been buying lately?" Well, we've all seen the J27 from Oxford Rail video. That's done very, very well. I bought that myself. The really nice model. The only issue that I had with it was the pickups not really touching the wheels properly. Once they were bent into shape, it actually has performed faultlessly. So actually, for the price, I'm very, very pleased with it. I also bought the BT Well tank, and unfortunately, I'm under strict orders not to buy too much. So at this moment, those are the only two things that I have been buying. B2000 RO Toys channel says, "I'm looking for a Triang 101 DMU and 2 rail 00 class 28 Kobo cheap, so I can make Boko and Daisy from Thomas the Tank Engine Friends. I may need people in the chat's help." I suspect that getting a Hornby 00 class 28 on the cheap is going to be tricky. However, Hellion did do that model, firstly as a Hattons exclusive, and then it passed into their main range for a re-release. So you're probably more likely to pick up a class 28 second hand of the Hellion variety, and certainly you'll probably find it runs a bit more reliably. The Hornby 00 class 28, which I have 2 3-rail versions, never did get the 2-rail one. The 3-rail version did tend to bludgeon its way through track. The Unfamiliar Terrier 48 says, "Woo, I finally got a Hornby streamlined Coronation in Crimson Lake." Right. Just having a East Midlands Train Spotter EMR says, "I'm okay, thanks, Southern Train Girl Nikki." Right. Gamehammer Classic Gamer says, "Jenny, what enormous thing if you..." Oh, I've already read that out. Egg Rider says, "May not be everyone's cuppa, but Hornby billed me for the 2021 Christmas wagon on Friday, so I guess they received a batch of models last week." Absolutely. Right. Yes, I did hear Alex Dent about the Model Railway exhibition at Chester Cathedral. We have talked about that, and somebody did send us a video when it opened. But Anfield Road Layout in the Loft, absolutely. Do remember to tickle the like button and share the stream as well. Really important. Let everybody know that we're back up and running. Big hello to Logan Clary and Ruben Ashwell. Thank you ever so much for your generosity, donating £5 through this super chat. Gamehammer Classic Gaming says, "Jenny, what is the announcement you've forgotten to make since you can't take a feckin' hint?" And that's feckin' with an E, like, Ted, it's Ted. Right, anyway, and meanwhile, back at the ranch. Yes, now, I was going through the news. The other amazing news is that on the boat from a Curascale are the MDO and MDV wagons, all varieties, and I am in a position to announce I will now exclusively. Sorry, I could do with a drink. Hint, hint. I forgot what I was saying. Oh yes, that. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, we've also got a big announcement on the Acura scale boat due in the shops for distribution in mid-September. The MDO and MDVs are imminent. Let's just say that I have just paid for the entire production run. So I've been billed, I've paid that. So they're imminent. I double checked with Acura Scale and they said should be with Rails of Sheffield by mid-September, and that'll be all versions. Simon Train's Model Railway Showcase says, I thought I heard Jenny swear for a second. No, I did the Father Ted swearing. Yeah, so Ham Shackleton, absolutely. The Jenny Wagons are on the way. That's right, the Jenny Monday Club Wagons, of which I have got one here. Come here, you. Let go. Let me tension lock couplings. I you'd have them. Right, let's change the camera angle. But the Jenny Monday Club Wagon, these are imminent. They are largely sold. So we've still got a few left, but they are pretty much certain to, well, they are certain to disappear very quickly once delivery is made to Rails of Sheffield. They will obviously then ship all of the pre-orders, and I know that a lot of you guys have really been absolute stars supporting the channel by buying the Jenny Monday Club Wagons, and they will be going out for delivery, hopefully, I guess, in the order that they were ordered, in the middle of September. So there you are, write it in the diaries, and that includes all versions as far as I'm aware. So the main range triple packs plus the Rails of Sheffield Special Commission, and also Planet Industrials triple pack as well. Buy them, otherwise you will miss out. All of the different versions are selling incredibly well, it has to be said. So essentially, once they're gone, they're not going to be repeated. Tony Wright says, hurrah! I am looking forward to getting my JFK wagon. Tim's Model Railways in different videos says, hooray, hooray, hooray! I can't wait to get it. Forever DC 302 says, did anyone over there make an OOHO 4489 Dominion of Canada A4? I'd like to buy one. Well, I do have the Bachmann version of the Dominion of Canada A4, but in BR green. Naive Gauge, big hello to you. Good evening all. I'm on Dad's taxi duty on Monday evenings now, but I've managed to park outside Tesco so I can get free Wi-Fi and join the Monday Club. Boom! Excellent. Logan Clary, Billy's replacement, swearing, of course. Matavel says, if all the wagons you just paid for were yours... Oh, hold on. You know how your ears get tuned to that sound of a wagon wheel bumping along the sleepers? I thought I heard it, but no, I don't think I do. If all the wagons you just paid for were yours, technically they currently are, would they fit on Weir Yard? And if no one was around to see it, would they make a sound? I think actually every single Monday Club wagon might just fit on Weir Yard, but they would fill all of the tracks. But technically, at this moment in time, every single Monday Club wagon that exists, as in the entire production run, belongs to me. Oh, gosh. So I do actually know, and I can't tell you, so don't ask, because I did sign an NDA, but I do actually know just what it would cost to buy a full production run of a particular running numbered wagon. And it's scary. Right, James Hardy says, what's running tonight, Jenny? Right, well, we have got a bumper selection. I think we've got 8 different trains running. So, let's start the outermost line. We've got Butler Henderson in Great Central Railway livery. This was a National Railway Museum special, actually, when the D11s first turned up. This was the first model to be released. It then subsequently came out in the main range. But Butler Henderson, that's running around. And the theme, it was supposed to be the theme for last week, was Locomotives I don't generally run. And that is one that doesn't normally get an outing. The next line in is another locomotive that doesn't often get an outing. This is the Hornby Q6, number 3418 in London and North Eastern Railway Black, on a run of Hornby HTO and a Curascale HUO hoppers. Oh, have you brought a drink? Oh, I was hoping for a Coke. Coke, thank you. Sorry, I needed a cool drink. Thank you so much. So that's on the next track in. The track in after that is a B17. Can't read its name. It's 61646. Oh, I needed that to wet my whistle. The track in after that, well, we've got 2552, which is a Bachmann Class 25 on one shuttle. We've got a Hornby Class 8. Gronk it up. And don't forget, the Gronk It Up merchandise is available down below, including all of the other merchandise. But that is currently doing the ABC, the DCC Concepts ABC that I don't normally use. I've got a thing on it, so it's doing its thing. And at some point, if the cameras play ball, you will see that Class 8 pass through. We've then got another Bachmann 25, which is 25095, is doing a DCC Concepts ABC shuttle as well. And then we finally got the Waterman Railways Class 20 here on the inside, number 20042, originally done as a special for the London Toy Fair. And believe it or not, this is the locomotive screen used from Great Model Railway Challenge Series 2 Final, that did the run from War of the Worlds through the Halloween layout and into Dr. Evil's volcano lair. And that is the self-same locomotive that did it. And I don't normally run it because it's not a livery I actually really like. So let's have a look. Oh, interesting. JJ Williams 1984 says 150 likes and I will send £10. So I sound like a real scrounge. But if everybody who is in, do please like. You don't have to send anything, but certainly it's always great just to bask in any appreciation that comes my way. Also, don't forget to like and share. Now, other model railway news, the bubble cars from Dapol in O gauge have hit the shops, selling really, really well. We've also, we have an incoming announcement on the Dapol version of the 61XX Large Prairie. That is on the boat as far as I'm aware. A big hello to Gwion Reese Davies, who says Jenny needs her zesty drink. Absolutely. And I think that there's a mocha turned up as well, but it is quite warm up here. So what else have we got? Patrick Furlong says 100 likes and I'll send some Diet Coke with Cupboard Monkey's next passage. Oh, thank you very much. You guys, so generous. Which reminds me, I also have to, I nearly forgot. One of the good patrons of the Monday Club, Bo Minnick, has very, very kindly, from the US of A, sent over a Walthers New York Central caboose. And this is because, as he said to me in a private message, he said, it just pained me to see the New York Central Niagara 484 running without an appropriate caboose. So I am forever in your debt, Bo. Thank you ever so much for this incredibly nice Walthers caboose to go with that New York Central 484. Or what is it? A Z1 or a T1? But certainly, thank you so much. And I'm really impressed with this. It's got a full interior. The detail on it is incredible, and the lamps also work. So I'm going to just see if I can quickly put it on the track. So I don't know if you guys can see there, But it's got working lamps, green and red. Really impressed with that. So thank you ever so much. A big hello to Somerset Andy. I just spotted your name in the chat. Really great to see you. Bagnall Dave as well. Great to see you as well. Evan Terry says, "Hi, I'm back. What did I miss?" The only things that we've had is in the news is monumental. Is that the Accurascale MDO and MDVs are expected in the shops sometime in mid-September, and that will include the Jenny Monday Club wagon. Now, if you want one of these, you do need to get your skates on, because if you haven't already ordered one, they are very low stock. Patrick Furlong says, "The thing is, Jenny, I can't remember what's to go in Zoe's next package." Gosh, you guys, you're so generous. Thank you ever so much. I do feel humbled. There's a lot of people as well saying that is a really nice caboose. Warbler Productions, just before it slips off the top, says, "I have a sound-fitted Daypole 61XX on order. Can't wait to compare it with the Hornby version." Absolutely. And of course, AD Poland, thank you ever so much for reminding me. Sonic Models and Rails of Sheffield LNER A5. And that is a 462. So it's basically a Pacific tank. They were built by the Great Central Railway. One of the different liveries being offered is in the full lined out Great Central Railway livery, which really does look something special. But as I think certainly a YouTuber exclusive, I have been able to negotiate to borrow at least one of the samples of the A5, and hopefully that may happen in the next week or two, and we will be able to get an exclusive look at the Sonic Models Rails of Sheffield distributed A5 on this channel. And if it is a working model, then we will be able to put it through its paces. So remember that you see these things here first. Right, Alex Dent says, "I've heard the breaking news about Worley Model Railway Exhibition has been postponed." You got the breaking news on here a couple of weeks ago, actually. I announced it within an hour of it actually being announced officially, I believe. So like I say, don't forget, here for the first in the news. Matavel says, "Seems a lot on the boat since the Ever Given saga is over. Not that I mind. Although if you have pre-ordered things like the improved precedents from Rail of Sheffield and the National Railway Museum, and also the Cali 812, the Daypole 61XX, and there are a number of Daypole O gauge and N gauge models as well on the same boat, it would seem. There's a lot of cost coming up in one go, just to really put you on alert. The Accurascale MDO and MDVs as well. Warbler Productions says, "I'm tempted to get one of the A5s, though it would have to be in Great Central Railway livery. Much prefer pre-grouping liveries." Absolutely, I do love that livery, although the early LNER livery, or actually it's L ampersand NER, that is actually in Great Central Railway livery, but with LNER on it rather than Great Central Railway. So they really do look something special. It's also the case that the A5 has been a heavily asked for locomotive, so I think it's going to go really, really well. Also, we announced it here that as well that Hornby had bought the final 51% share in Oxford Rail. Now, I have also found out Oxford Rail, Scott Rhodes, who has done an incredible job at Oxford Rail, has now left the company as he has finally trained up as a teacher, and this was always his dream job. So this isn't a forced move. This is Scott Rhodes chasing his lifelong goal and dream of becoming a school teacher. He's passed his training, he's got his first job, and we wish Scott every best wishes with that, and hope he does stay in touch with the world of model railways. But certainly he is the guy who has really spearheaded Oxford Rail's releases up until now. Things like that Bosch Buster gun, absolutely great. Absolutely great model. Really left field, but so good. The J27 and the forthcoming J26, also his brainchild. I believe that the J26 is in production, so hopefully we're going to see the J26 following fairly close on the heels of the J27 releases. And it really is a lot coming out. But with Scott Rhodes leaving Oxford Rail, I haven't been able to find out who is likely to replace him in that role. He handled a lot of the researching and things like product assessment of EPs and livery samples. He did a lot of the research work to find the liveries, find the pictures, and making sure that the models actually look like they were supposed to. And I think that Oxford Rail is going to really miss Scott. So we do wish Scott all the best in his new job role, and do hope that he keeps his foot into the model railway world. But we don't know who else is taking over there. A mocha. So beverage of choice is a mocha. Oh, it doesn't say anything on that side. It says coffee on this side. Don't forget as well, the Jenny Monday Club mugs still coming out. James Hardy says, will the Oxford models come under Hornby? We don't know yet. In all honesty, I don't think that there's been any announcement whatsoever. And I would hope that Oxford Rail would remain an arm's length company from Hornby. Michael Pollitt says, evening Jenny, my third attempt to let you know Flying Scotsman came streaming through past my house this afternoon. Oh, brilliant. Well, we've had Flying Scotsman come through, settle a couple of times. Really impressive. Russell Benton says, with that news, I'll bet Oxford Rail will just disappear. No, I'm not convinced it will. AD Pullen says Scott Rhodes was easy to talk to as well. Yeah, absolutely top bloke, I have to say. And yeah, absolutely right. Really easy to get on with. Met him in person at Alexandra Palace, at Worley as well. Always had a good chat with Scott. And he just had so much excitement and enthusiasm for the models as well. So really it's sad to see him go, but I know that he's gone to what for him was his dream job. So that'll be, I'm really happy for him. He's also been a great supporter of the channel, arranging for all the samples that we've reviewed here that they've sent over. So I am forever grateful for the support that Scott Rhodes in particular at Oxford Rail has given the channel. Iron Horse Railways, hi to you. Is coffee a little better than try Billy's replacement creamers? Oh, what are you guys like? Sorry, I'm just trying to get some air up. It's really warm. So if you're hearing a fan going into overdrive, then what you're actually hearing is a fan going into overdrive. David Cook, hi to you. Jiggy Asher Dubé, hello guys, hi to you. Simon the Railway Enthusiast 83, good to see you're well, Jenny. Thank you ever so much. AD Pulling, being told by Hornby that Oxford Rail are staying separate. Absolutely, I think it'd be a good move, and in many the way that EFE Rail and Bachmann are connected but separate, then I think that it's something that Hornby wouldn't spend all that money to then effectively just absorb the company. It's not really a great business move, in my opinion. Right, the Unfamiliar Terrier 48 asks, did you hear about Kerno's rail motor for 00 and O gauge as early samples so far, and they look really good? And absolutely, Kerno Model Centre in some respects are the sleeper hit of the retailer world. They have commissioned a lot of really interesting models, and some of these have been reproduced in the EFE rail range, but certainly Kerno Model Centre, they've got two branches, one in, I think it's Basildon, or Basingstoke. I know there's a B in there somewhere, and the other one down right in the tip of Cornwall. And certainly they've brought some amazing models to the market. They handle all the distribution for Model Rail for their exclusive models. And in terms of general mail order, they are certainly a big player. So certainly one to look out for. The London and South Western Railway road vans do look really great. I did try to borrow some from Kernow Model Centre, but the guy I was dealing with, I think he thought I was some kind of chancer. So I was like, I will now ignore you. So if he does watch this, I'm not a chancer. I just want to review your models. I'll send them back. Right. Egg Rider says, Kernow is in Guildford and Cornwall, of course. Oh, well, shucks, I really got that wrong, didn't I? Basildon and Basingstoke, how far away could Guildford be? Big hello to Morris Modelling and also Oldmore Junction Model Railway. Big hello to you. We've got a really great turnout here. Cam Shackleton also reminds us that KR Models have opened their order book for the Bellerophon tank engine. Absolutely. Now, I believe that originally that there were at least 4 of that type of locomotives built, and Bellerophon does survive. I think it'd be another popular model, and certainly it is one that is well worth keeping on your radar and getting an order in. Yes, I know Melchester Model Railways that there's no B in Guildford. It's silent. It's a silent B. B2000RO Toys channel says new photos of Pico 009 prints have been shown. It's due December 2021. So that is going to be another great model. Really looking out for that. It's basically the model that Myneth Tatus was built for. So it would be really nice to finally get the model to the market from Pico and Kato to put on Myneth Tatus that it was designed for. Flint Hills Model Railway, Jeff Harrington says, not Basildon. I know. Logan Clary says, oh, imagine Billy's replacement, hot sauce, where you would have taste buds after. Who knows? But you do know that he'd have Billy's replacement taste buds as well. A big hello to... Excuse me. A big hello to Wardle Road. It's great to see you in. Don't forget, everybody, do tickle the like button and share the stream as well. Really, really important to help the channel and feed that algorithm. Right. Jerry BVR says, sorry I'm late. Busy trolley racing at the supermarket. It's all right. No, you're not late. We were all inconveniently early. Bolton Model Railway Society, big hello to you. We're having a 4-day open weekend this bank holiday during the Food and Drinks Festival on Bolton. It's just disappeared off the top. Food and Drinks Festival on Bolton. If you're in the area, pop in for a chat. We're in the marketplace on the first floor. Actually, I might try and get down there. Actually, that would be really good. And JJ Williams, 1984. has very kindly donated £10 on Super Chat. Thank you ever so much. That is so generous of you. And JJ Williams says, here you go, Jennifer. Shame about Worley. Absolutely. I believe that Worley Model Rail Club are trying to put together something, possibly an online event. I haven't been given any more information about that, but certainly watch this space. I think whatever happens, then there's going to be something on that weekend. Somerset Andy says, can I just say, Kernow Model Rail Centre have a great after-sales service. Awesome company to buy from. Absolutely, and I've bought a number of special commissions over the years from them and always had amazing service. And I know that they handle the distribution for Model Rails exclusives as well. And I've always had great service whenever I've bought any of those as well. So yeah, absolutely agree with you. Kernow Model Centre, really great shop. Forever DC302 says 4489 Dominion of Canada. Found one in Hoyk, UK. It's Hornby. Hoyk is one of those weird places that for a long time I thought there was a place called Hoyk because I heard it on the travel news a lot. And then there was a place I thought called Harwick because that's how it's spelt. And it turns out they're both the same. It's a bit like toaster. Yes, for all you people who are not in the UK, there is a town in the UK called Toaster. You know, like what you put your bread in. talkie toaster. And I never found where it was until I suddenly realised that the place that I thought was Towcester was actually Toaster. Yeah, I know, Britain. Weird place names throughout. Dinmore Junction, big hello to you. Underground Eric as well, great to see you in. Ullman's World says, what do you prefer, Class 15 or Class 16? I actually really like the Class 16, it has to be said. The Class 16, just, I don't know, something about it. The Hellion model is certainly really, really nice. Now, don't get me wrong, the Class 15 is certainly interesting as well. Morris Modelling says there's a place called Wales in Derbyshire. Absolutely, there's also a place called Clown as well. And I just imagine that the Clown Fire Department would be very good at just pouring buckets of water down each other's trousers. Right. Let's have a look. B Mozza, big hello to you. Says, Jenny, I can lend you a London South Western Railway road van. Look, that's very, very kind of you. I'm still working on Kernow Model Centre. He might, for all I know, he might have gone on holiday. It was probably a bit harsh. But certainly, I'm always worried when I contact companies that they think, oh, here comes another chancer. Because obviously not everybody knows about the Monday Club. But that's where you guys can help. By liking this video and sharing it as well. Get the word out there. At the Monday Club, all are available. Underground Eric says, yeah, containers again, the usual. But also that does remind me that there's also some more containers in model form going to be forthcoming from Daypol. I think they're in 00, but do look out for that. And also, it should also be said, oh, I like the Skipsy trains. I went to Clown College. A bit like Homer Simpson. Skipsy Train says Wales is in South Yorkshire. Ah, yes, the People's Republic of Yorkshire. All right, B Motter says there's a place called Watch It. There are some weird place names in the UK. The one that always tickles me, whenever driving into London on, I think it's the A2, Pratt's Bottom. Yeah, Pratt's Bottom always makes me tittle. Alan Reynolds, oh, PVA, J Cloth, Alan Reynolds, represent. Thank you for that tip, actually. I really do love it. Toaster on the A5 and Jack's Hill Cafe. You must know that, Jen. Yeah, but I thought it was called Towcester. It took me a long time to put 2 and 2 together. Simon the Railway Enthusiast 83 says, we love the Monday Club. Boom! Monday Club represent. Tickle that like button. David J says, apologies if someone has already asked Jen, but will you be going to the Great Electric Train Show in Milton Keynes in October, I believe? Pete Waterman's Cathedral layout will be on display, I believe. Absolutely, I believe that I'll be there with work. Matt Rutter, I live in Stratford, East London. At the end of my road is Decapod Street in memory of an 010 built in the area. Yes, the Decapod, I'd love to see a model of that. Very short-lived locomotive, was rebuilt into, I believe, it's either an 080 or a 280 tender locomotive, and kind of just lived out the rest of her life in anonymity and was scrapped with indignation. That mocker's actually quite nice, but could do with a cold drink when the cupboard monkey comes up to do the videos, I have to say. Right. Melchester Model Railway says, I once travelled from Sandwich to Toaster. Yeah. Ridgeway Park 00 says, we only have 24 letters in the alphabet in the town where I live, as we don't have a B and Q. Oh dear. And the Unfamiliar Terrier 48 says, support KR models, hopes they've got many new models such as Bulliard's Leader, DHP1, Bellerophon and new GT3 liveries. Also like and sub and share to Jenny. Boo! And don't forget as well to check out the merchandise down below as well. And you too could be stylish at the Model Railway exhibition scene as it starts up this year with your Gronk It Up t-shirt. Do you DMU? My Railway, My Rules, and of course, Terrier Fest, because who doesn't like a terrier? B. Mazza says, there is a kit of the Decapod, Southeastern Finecast. Yeah, if you're very, very skilled at kit building, then definitely they are out there. But if you have to pay somebody to build a kit to a very high standard, I believe that the general rule of thumb is £100 per axle plus the cost of the kit. So for a Decapod, that's £1,000 in double O if you get somebody to build it for you. So there we go. 156 Andrew says, what about the Welsh town with the longest name? What? Llanfairth Porthgwyngyll and the rest of it. It wasn't always called that. It was a tourist trap. I think it's Llanfairth Porthgwyngyll is the actual name, and then it got extended as a touristy thing in the Victorian era. Larry Rogers, how do you like the Hall class locos? That's the only UK outline engine I have. They're all right. Leighton's Locos, big hello to you. Oldmore Junction Model Railway says, is there a Gronk Pre t-shirt mug yet? No, but that's a good one. We do need to get the cupboard monkey on the case. Military Base Bravo Model Railway Layout says, I would like to see from Hornby or Hattons or Oxford Rail the S160 and Q class and North London tank. There's so many different locomotives I think that we all do really want to see. I would love to see, I think it's a J90, either a J92 or a J93 tank locomotive. Mattavell says, glad Jenny's not my accountant, but wish she would build my railway. I always had a rule that I wouldn't build layouts for other people, because it's the problem is that the cost to build a model railway when you factor in your time is quite expensive, and I just never really like to build it for other people because I'm always frightened that they'll think that I'm taking them for a ride. But you know, never say never, I guess. Richard Swiderski says, that town in Wales, Llanfairth Porthgwyngyll, and Southern Train Girl, and Jennifer Garrett as well. It's got a great turnout. Absolutely great turnout here. Logan Clone says, most signs shorten the rest of it to PG. Yeah, Llanfairth PG. J. Paul Anderson, hi to you. Says, have you seen the footage of the Mission Impossible fake Britannia class crash into it's actually a quarry in Derbyshire, I believe. Yeah, I've said the footage is all over YouTube. One person's put it up, and then loads and loads of freeloaders have stolen that footage and re-uploaded it, it seems. Ridgeway Park OO says, Oxford models sadly don't have much of a range in estate cars. But they do the Volvo 850 as an estate, I believe, but I want it in the saloon. 57305 Northern Princess says, I'd love to see a model of Metropolitan Railway, number 1. Manthony 1956 says, even in the US, we have those unusual Welsh names like Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania, a well-known women's college is there. Yeah, they get out there. I mean, it basically shows that where people emigrated to the US from. Jennifer Garrett says, my grandmother lived in Anglesey. The locals just call it Llanfairth PG. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's a tourist name. It's not the actual name of the place. Melchester Model Railway says, multiple units are becoming very expensive. The new Bachmann 4 BEP is over £400. Yeah, and this is something else as well we touched on with the announcement, with the Bachmann Class 47. We finally got a locomotive topping out the £300 mark. So it's getting very expensive, unfortunately. Clive Cobalt says, Jenny, I would like to see a model of the Class 81, 82 electric locos in double O. Yeah, absolutely. The 83 and 84 would be nice as well for those to have all of the AC electrics. I can't remember, was it the Class 83? Some of which got intercity livery is one which I'd love to see. And 156 Andrew says, Llanfaith Pwthgwingen Gogeri Drobul Antisilio Go Go Go. So I've just butchered the pronunciation of there. Underground Eric says, barely motivated to work on my own railway, let alone someone else's. And somebody did actually say, yeah, Naive Gauge says, do not work on someone else's railway for the same reason to never fix someone else's computer. You will be held responsible for it forever. That is quite true. J94, big hello to you. Nice to see you. And of course, Matt Rutter. Absolutely, there's a part of Argentina where Welsh is the dominant language, because there was a lot of Welsh miners moved out there to basically part of the gold rush and then stayed there. Egg Rider says the trick to being able to say Llanfair PG in full is to learn it as a tune, so you sing it instead of say it. Absolutely right. Rest of the news. What else? We've got a load of new announcements from Rapido US / Canada. So those of you into the US scene, definitely lots of great stuff. Also, the Planet Industrials 060, was it Hunslet, that they've announced that Rails of Sheffield is the exclusive distributor, and that includes a rail operations division a liveried version as an exclusive for Rails of Sheffield. Ben Tullett says, Jenny, maybe you should do an article on the best second-hand affordable locomotives and models to buy and how to spot a good used model. Possibly. I think the thing is, though, everybody has different requirements. Now, for me, there's certain things that I look for in a second-hand model, and the couplings is the first area. If it didn't come fitted from new with slimline couplings, then 99 out of 100 times I will walk on by unless it's something very specific that I wanted. I also steer clear of split chassis locomotives, but if you run on DC, they're not necessarily the issue that DCC modelers find them. I also look to things like fine detail, have they been broken or not. And for me, I like to buy my locomotives in a box and rolling stock as well. Those are kind of my little personal rough and ready guides to buying second hand. But I don't tend to buy a lot. When I do, it tends to come from places like Arcadia Models in Shaw. Really, really good. Really good on second-hand prices. He does price stuff to sell, it has to be said. So definitely, everybody's seen where I've put it. But yeah, also Loco Shed in Whitefield does have some great second-hand too. So always worth having a look at some of the model shops, and do support your local model shop. Great Eastern Models as well have been putting up a lot of posts on Facebook with second-hand models. Some of them are actually at a really great price. If it wasn't for the fact that I'm completely broke at the moment, because I've just bought an entire production run of Acura Scale wagons. Don't forget that Acura Scale wagon is actually the Monday Club wagon, will be available and being pre-orders will be being fulfilled from mid-September by Rails of Sheffield. Do get your orders in, or you will miss out. A bit strapped at the moment, but certainly, yeah, Great Eastern Models have had some really great second-hand bargains up on there. Underground Eric says, did your dad's traction engine sell, Jenny? It would seem not. The guy who was interested in buying it never came back. So, tire kicker is what I would say. So, if you got a spare 25 grand, I do know where a brand new, just built to a very high standard 4-inch scale, no, not 4-inch gauge, but 4-inch scale, that is 4 inches to the foot, or 1/3 the size of the real one, is available for sale. Do get in touch. Patrick Furlong says, why buy an entire production run, Jenny? Because I have to have it with what I want on the wagon. So it's the Monday Club Special Commission wagon. Simon the Railway Enthusiast 83 says, where is that TARDIS, I wonder? Well, yeah. I wonder. So, yeah, J. Paul Anderson says the Hobby Shop in Kent, great shop. Yeah, there are some really, really great shops out there. Oldmore Junction Model Railway says, the main thing for me when buying second-hand is DCC ready capability. I can't afford to send lots of engines off to places to get them DCC fitted or really do it myself, unfortunately. Yeah, and that's what I mean about if you're a DC modeler, that wouldn't necessarily come into it. But I know what you mean. I generally know that if I if I find a model which says it's DCC ready, has a socket, then I know it's usually a fairly modern locomotive. Ruben Ashwell says, I've not spotted the TARDIS yet. Well, Mark Hamill down MR says, can you recommend any places to get War Department wagons in 00 gauge? Right, the only ones that I know about, Bachmann did a few. Firstly, as part of the military manoeuvres set, and then also they did an army liveried internal user wagon, which is part of the main range. Now, somebody asked, what is a tyre kicker? That's Tim Davis. What is a tyre kicker? It's a colloquialism. What it means is somebody like, it comes from selling a car, who'll come round and they just sort of kick the tyres and go, well, I'll take it off your hands. But you're basically a time waster. A tyre kicker is a time waster. Matt Rutter says, are there DCC fitting services? What does it cost? It's normally about £30 on average, seems to be the prices that I've seen out there. But it must be said that it can vary a bit, but if the model is listed as DCC ready, do check out some of my previous review videos, because one of the things that I always do is a DCC fitting guide, because I am shocked at how much some companies or people do charge for DCC fitting, given how let's just hold on. Yeah, you can guess what I'm doing. Given how easy it is to DCC fit most locomotives, so really don't be frightened of having to go yourself. Daniel's OO Model Railways says Harbin Hobbies is a great model shop. Absolutely, I've had a few special commissions from them as well. Bagnall Dave says TARDIS in the kitchen with Zoe. No, it is up here. And 156 Andrew says that easily beat a HST. Oh yeah, Matt Rutter, speed of a Class A. I did notice somebody asked 156 Andrew. About 14 miles per hour flat out. It depends. Some of them could manage 20 miles an hour. So, ooh. But yes, and also, Ron B, big hello to you, says, live steam is always fun. I get to drive a 7¼ inch loco this Saturday. Well, one of the other things I'm negotiating about, which is the other reason that I'm completely cleaned out at the moment, is that the this channel will soon be the proud owner of a 5-inch gauge live steam locomotive. So hopefully we'll be getting out and about and getting some great content around that. Right. What else have we got? Oldmore Junction Model Railway says, I also tend to use Hattons to see if a model is DCC ready or not. Their site keeps item pages up even after they're sold, and the descriptions tend to say if a model is DCC ready or fitted. Yeah, absolutely. I must admit, I do find that the Hattons website is actually really useful in that respect. Tony Wright says, Jenny, I've just bought a Bachmann Class 24-1 from Buffer's Model Shop Axminster for the same price as the big mail order company, so I was after watch your excellent review video on one. Oh, brilliant. And yes, Buffer's in Axminster, aka James May's My Kind of Model Shop. Really great place. Kelly Ashford Trains, big hello to you. Says, sorry I'm late. No, you were never late. We were just early. Don't worry about it. And actually, just for you, I've got not one, not two, but 3 steam locomotives running around. So for those of you joining late, today's theme was locomotives that don't normally get much of a run. So we have got a Butler Henderson, the National Railway Museum edition, is going around on the outside. Then the next one in is a Hornby Q6. Now that really doesn't often get run for, I don't know why. And that is, let's just change the angle. That is in LNER black livery. And then we've got a Class 8 shunt, a Hornby Class 8 in D number green, BR green. We've got 2 Bachmann 25s running, and we've got a Waterman Railways Class 20, which is genuinely screen used. It was seen in 2 episodes of Great Model Railway Challenge, actually. It was the star of running on the 3 layouts that my team built. And it also appeared in the background in one of the earlier episodes where we built the War of the Worlds. Right. Also, final locomotive running is a Hornby B17, which I really do like. Wardle Road says it doesn't get better than live steam. Absolutely, and I've been running live steam in the form of road locomotives since 1997, 1998, something like that. So I am an old hand. I actually, one of my first ever on-screen TV appearances was on a thing on Granada television, teaching Fred the Weatherman to drive a steam engine. So yeah, the very young, I think it was only about 18 or 19 at the time. Right, Donegal Dad, hello to you. Robin Slewer says, I'm looking to more American locomotives. I have to say, I've been very impressed with that Broadway Limited Niagara 484 in the New York Central livery. And of course, a big thank you to Bo Minnick, who actually really kindly sent to the channel a matching caboose. So really thankful to that. And this is really nice. It's a Walthers caboose with working tail lamps. Really nice. AD Pullen says, Tom Muchley for the live stream. Thank you very much all, and thank you all for coming. Right, what else have we got? Lots of people saying hello to each other. Shanghai 264359, big hello to you. I definitely wouldn't like to see DCC sound fitted models as standard. DC stuff costs enough as it is. Yeah, DCC fitted I don't mind because they can be set to run on DC. But I know what you mean. DCC sound, you're paying a lot of money for what actually a lot of people, even DCC users would probably find it a bit of a step too far. So I actually like Bachmann's method, where they offer them sound fitted and just DCC ready for the same identity locomotive. Model Railway Noob says, I bought a few US switcher shunters but only one steam loco for a World War I conversion. Yeah, Michael Stevens. I know, Fred the Weatherman. Oh dear. Oh, look, we didn't know he was a pedo at the time when we filmed for Granada, and it was a short-lived series with Fred out and about with Fred the Weatherman and his little Messerschmitt bubble car thing. We didn't know he was a pedo, and in fairness, actually, there was no hint. He wasn't like Mr. Octopus or anything, but there you are. But you know, I'm of an age where I wrote to Jimmy Savile to see if Jim could fix it for me. And you know, I'll be honest, looking back, if a dictionary had had pictures, there would have been a picture of Jimmy Savile under the entry for pedo, because he really looked like one. Michael Pollitt, hi again, Jenny. Yeah, I have 2 American locos, Challenger and Big Boy. Costs a fortune to bring them over. I can imagine. There's a Challenger, a Broadway Limited sound and smoke unit Challenger in the cabinet at DCC Concepts, and it's £699. And it's like, okay, we'll be leaving that there. Wardle Road, yeah, we didn't know he was a pedo at the time. Well, obviously. Yeah, because if we had known he was, we wouldn't have worked with him. Matt Oval, DCC sound, I like to turn the volume down, not upgrade the speaker. It's more fun if you can only hear it when you're close. And Ruben Ashell says, oh my gosh, Jimmy Savile. Yes. Yeah, you know, if you were a kid who grew up in the 70s or the 80s, you pretty much all wrote to Jim will fix it to try and get him to fix it for you. We didn't know what was going on. Right. Where are we looking to? Right. Mike. Oh no, we've read that one out. Wiven Model Railway. Great to see you. And also James Pett. Really good. I approve of James Pett. Underground Eric says, cool. Ollie's 14XX is Silvercrest. Beautiful little thing. Yes, I've negotiated to purchase it. I've only ever seen it in photographs, but it really does look great. So hopefully I'll get my dad on board to the 5-inch thing. Don Gets Model Railway says, I wrote to Jim will fix it too. My dad was convinced at the time that there was, quotes, something wrong with him. Thinking back, I don't know if the letter actually got sent. I think a lot of people thought he was an odious man, but, you know, yeah, Ron B says, the guy looks like a creep. It's like people say, you know, if you had to draw a picture of a pedo, you draw a picture of Jimmy Savile, because, you know, he just looks, he just looks like one. Shanghai 264359 says, I bought the original Rivarossi Big Boy in the 70s. It cost £45. It's on my channel. Oh, my word. And Mark Rutter says, he always gave me the creeps. I couldn't watch. Kelly Ashford Train says, Jenny, I sent a story to you and Zoe via email. Oh, thank you ever so much. We shall take a look at that. Underground Eric says, DCC sound is excellent if it's used nicely and subtly, brings it all to life. Yeah, absolutely. DC, it's like so many things. Used incorrectly or, you know, used thoughtfully, they can add to a model. But if anybody's been at an exhibition doing with a layout, and the layout next to you is a diesel TMD layout where they have super loud sound fitted locos idling non-stop, then you very quickly learn how to place a 1p piece on the track to short the layout out when they're not looking, because it's blooming irritating. Ian the Train says, good evening all, can I just squeeze in? Always room for one more. And yeah, James Hardy, Rolf Harris is another. Absolutely. And the thing was, we never suspected him, and you know, quite angry because he was a big influence to a lot of people growing up who went on into art. James Pett says, I was actually on the same sleeper train as Jimmy Savile once. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, let's stop talking about pedos. Wardle Road says, Jenny, am I okay to share a link to my recent video for anyone interested in live stream? Absolutely. Go right ahead. Christopher Lewis says, just seen the TARDIS in a goods wagon behind a black steam engine. Well spotted. That is absolutely correct. Jeremy Day says, can't wait to... Jeremy Clay says, can't wait till my birthday. I know, birthdays, eh? And James Pett says, Billy's replacement DCC sound speakers. David, it's my model railway, says, any news on the Pico Kato double fairly? All I know is that it's following on from the Prince, which should be, I believe, December this year was mentioned. Wiven Model Railway says there was a model railway shop in the arcade at Liverpool Street where I saw my first big boy. That was in 1966. Kelly Ashford Train says, I love writing stories. It's a talent of mine I want to share with you. You're absolutely welcome and looking forward to seeing them. Roger Woolston Holmes says, Jimmy was manager of my local disco. Seemed okay, but then I'm not pretty. I know what you mean. It was like Fred the Weatherman. He seemed a perfectly nice chap when I worked with him. You know, didn't see it coming, I'll be honest with you. Dongi's Mulleroy says, you miss so much of the special effects of a TMD as the locos all sort of mashed together, producing an indistinct background din rather than separate engine notes. Absolutely. Oldmoor Junction Mulleroy says, a good example of how Hornby TTS can sound quite good and not really tinny with models is their Class 66. The body shell is pretty much empty and so the sound reverberates and sounds brilliant. Another one I will say is very, very good is the Class 20 TTS. That for me is probably the standout highlight of the TTS range. Ian the Train says, doing some modelling but finding it really funny tonight. I say. Well, we had the clown fire department earlier on. Blagowery Forest Railway, Andrew Johnson says, good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and Jenny. Ladies, gentlemen, and Jenny. I am going to cross over to DCC soon. Welcome to the dark side. I look forward to having sound on my model. Absolutely welcome. And William N, big hello to you. Ben Tullett says, sorry if I'm not conversating much, watching the very interesting Secrets of the London Underground programme. Very interesting. No, absolutely welcome, no worries. Iron Horse Railway says, with my Class 67, I fitted it with TTS and used ESU Sugar Cube speakers with them. They're really good. And Jennifer Garrett, yeah, we mentioned right back at the beginning, Bankman samples of the Quarry Hunslet in 009 also appeared this week, with and without cab. Although still a few unanswered questions, we don't know yet whether the toolbox on Britomart's running plate is part of the actual moulding or whether it will be able to be delivered with and without. The toolbox is unique to Britomart, I believe, but other similar members of the class didn't necessarily have them. Somerset Andy says, got to go now. Thanks, Jenny, Zoe, and everyone for a great stream. You all take care. Bye for now. You take care, and we will see you next time. Oldmoor Junction Mother Railway says, the other thing I wish Hornby would produce is more of their Class 50 TTS decoders. They're impossible to find. Now, the TTS decoders do tend to come in a batch and then disappear. It is a little bit annoying, but that's just the way they make them. Now, you're not likely to see more for a while. The reason for this is you may have heard about this on the news. It is starting to break through the news about Afghanistan. That there is a processor shortage. Prices are spiking up, and even if you have the money, you can't necessarily get the processors. Toyota globally have announced a 40% drop in production next month. But in car production, because they can't get the processors, Ford and General Motors as well released a joint statement. Very unusual for two rival companies to do this, to say they cannot get the processors. So these are the same types of processors that are being used in things like DCC decoders, and TCS have been saying that they are about to run out of processors, and a number of other chip manufacturers are struggling to get the processors. So I don't believe we're going to see any more Hornby TTS decoders for a little while. William N says, I would like to get some chocolate and cream coaches. Which ones have the best bargain? Now, there are some of the Hornby ones are really, really good, but you have to be careful. You need the ones with the slimline tension lock couplings. And what I would say is that you have a look at the railroad ones in the flesh first. They're not everybody's cup of tea. They lack some of the detail and finish. But the main range Hornby Mark 1s are pretty good value. Right. Ham Shackleton says, I have 50% of my locos sound fitted. I must admit, I've got a good few sound fitted, but I generally don't turn the sound on. And just to give you an indication, That's the Q6. It has sound in it. I think the B17 has sound in as well. But I just tend not to use them, in all honesty. That's the B17. But a lot of people saying about the smell of live steam. Yeah, there's something very evocative about the smell of burning steam coal, hot steam oil and steam. Really, really nice. Dongit's Model Roses, Bachmann Chocolate and Cream Mark 1 seem to go pretty cheap on eBay because few people seem to want Mark 1s in that colour scheme. That's interesting because I've actually struggled to find those colours. You'll see going around Butler Henderson is pulling my entire complement of chocolate and cream coaches, which is 5. That's all I've managed to get. Very, very mixed and matched. I've actually found the crimson and cream to be the most difficult to get second hand, although the maroon ones follow quite close. The green ones and blue-grey seem very, very difficult. Kelly Ashford Train says, whistles, music to my ears. Well, look, here's another blast for you. Right, J94, absolutely. It's quite a smell, especially when they're firing them up. Yeah, it depends on the coal. I can remember doing a rally one time where they bought in the cheapest, most sulphurous coal that money could buy, and the plumes of impervious yellow choking smoke was quite nasty. Michael Stevens says, I spent 30 years in the BBC edit pit. The story is a narrative, not up to me to change it. Now, do not say I have BBC heritage when we look for video production work. I think I've come in halfway through a conversation. Oh, Warbler Production says, oh look, the TARDIS is running the hopper wagons behind the Q6. I think not really been trying to look for it with Zoe not being too well. Absolutely it is, although you weren't the first to spot it, I'm afraid. You're really slipping. I think your TARDIS detector needs to be tuned in there. Iron Horse Railway says the alternative is spending an extra £60 for the correct sound file, which through a tiny speaker doesn't sound all that much more convincing. Yeah. Matt Rutter says, I wonder if there's a market for steam railway flavoured incense sticks. There might be a small niche one. Warbler Production says I have a total of 7 Chocolate and Cream Mark 1, 6 from the Cambrian Coast Express Special Edition pack, and 1 buffet car. That's enough for me at the moment. Clive Cobbold says, Jenny, the Hornby Mark 1 RB coaches are good models. James Pett says Welsh coal. Is that Welsh coal is bad coal, or Welsh coal is greater than bad coal? Welsh steam coal is actually really good. Having run steam locomotives on it, it is pretty good. Ron B says, I now have to learn how to brake a train because air brakes are starting to be mandatory for live steam passenger trains in the Netherlands. Yeah, and Iron Horse Rower says, coal and grease, scented sticks. Maybe that could be a business venture for Billy's Replacement Incense Sticks. White Wall Wheels 1 Hardcore MOH. Big hello to you. Great to see you in. You need the whistle on the Shay. Sends shivers down your spine. I have to say that there's a few whistles that do that. Peter Gregory says, just started with DCC, but I'm struggling with my class 03 stalling on dead frog points. Are there any live frogs you can recommend suitable for DCC? Well, yeah, and the Pico live frog points is the way to go. But what I will say to you is, perhaps first of all, consider a stay alive. This is something I was actually investigating. There's 2 types of the Bachmann Class 3s of modern spec that come DCC ready. The first couple of releases have 6-pin decoder sockets, and there's plenty of room in the cab for a stay alive. Basically, you could fit something like a Zen Blue Plus decoder with the plug-and-play solder-free Stay Alive in, and that would fit into a Bachmann Class 3 shunter with the 6-pin socket. Now, the later ones have a 21-pin socket, and I haven't seen inside any of those to know exactly, but I would guess that, again, if you get something like the Zen Black Plus decoder with the plug-and-play Stay Alive, you could fit that in. Also, it has to be said, Trainomatic do make a great range of decoders with 3-wire controllable stay alives as well. Their smart power pack is actually one that I'm particularly really happy with using. So there are a number of different alternatives. James Pets, absolutely. I would recommend Stay Alives and Live Frogs. The Pico Unifrog points are especially easy to use with DCC. Absolutely, but if your layout's already down and ballasted, as where yard is, sometimes you have to live with a few Insel Frog points. Richard Swiderski says Hornby did 2 vent vans with TTS decoders with ambient sounds. Absolutely. Interesting idea. Larry Rogers, smoke fluid for O-gauge engines is available in many scents: wood, coal, diesel, sugar cookie, and cotton candy come readily to my... Wow, cotton candy smoke from your engines. Wow, that is interesting. And Simon the Railway Enthusiast 83 says, Billy's replacement Welsh coal. Right. Let's have a look. Yeah, one of the other things as well I found with the live frog points, later on Pico made them so that you just had to clip 2 wires and solder a couple of bits in, and it made them work perfectly on DCC. The earlier points you'll need a Dremel in the right place to do the same with them. Ruben Ashwell says, is that the Welsh coal Henry from Thomas the Tank Engine had? Quite possibly. And Underground Eric says, right, I'm off. Might see you when you come to pick up your 5-inch tea making machine, Jenny. Absolutely, I do need to sort that out. The money's got to clear probably in the next week or so. But we will be seeing each other, hopefully. So you take care. Right, my voice is starting to go with all the talking. Having a week off is not helped the voice. But James Pett says, stay alive can be more difficult with Next 18. Sometimes one needs to work out very carefully where to solder, although I think there are some with pre-soldered connections now. Absolutely, the Zen Blue Plus Next 18 decoder is on the market and comes with their plug-and-play solder-free Stay Alives cable, which if you want to use another brand of Stay Alive, you can cut the plug off, and it's much easier to join 2 wires than to try and solder onto some very, very tiny solder pads. Ian the Train says, Jenny, can I be cheeky and advertise my eBay profile, Sharkman models for engineers' wagons? Absolutely. I always say this is one of the big things that I hate YouTubers who get big and pull up the ladder behind them and refuse to shout out and help and give a platform for other smaller YouTubers. I do know that it's really difficult to build an audience on YouTube. I'm in a position at the moment where I'm currently building up from a very low level the DCC Concepts YouTube channel, and it is quite difficult. I came up from the back of the pack with this channel, so it's one of the reasons that we do like to do the showing people's videos and stuff, because there's some great modelling out there. I think everybody can learn stuff from ideas, but YouTube does seem to be a place where having the greatest videos doesn't necessarily get you noticed. So we do like to give people a leg up. Peter Gregory says, I think there may be some solder pads on the decoder, but I haven't been able to work out which is which yet. May look into the decoders with pre-connected plugs. Now, I know from having used Trainomatic, they have little pads that you solder to, and it can be tricky. One thing that does make it easier, do look into something like the No Clean Flux from DCC Concepts. Now, I know I do work at DCC Concepts, but it genuinely is a product that makes things a lot easier. But also, if you look up online the manuals for any of these decoders, it will tell you which pad is soldered to where. And James Pett's absolutely right. On the Zemo decoder, there's one of the 2 solder pads necessary. I don't know about the other brands. Yeah, I think Zemo, ESU as well come with the pads, and it is quite readily quite readily able to. You can find the manuals which do tell you which pad is which. Right. Where are we going? I saw a comment and. Yeah, James Pett says, I approve of Jenny's open attitude to other YouTubers. Absolutely. And somebody else said something. No, I've missed the comment. James Pett says, the idea with Next 18 decoders is that there should be solder points on the locomotives, but this is not always true. Unfortunately, what you will find, right, Next 18... There's not well, there are 18 pins, but they're all doubled up. So a Next 18 decoder effectively has 9 pins. That means that a Next 18 decoder is just a smaller version of your 8-pin decoder with the extra function wire. There aren't actually any pins available for the Stay Alive. The only decoder sockets that could theoretically give you the extra pins you need would be something like a 21-pin socket or a Plux 22. And even then, I've a feeling that technically every pin is spoken for on a 21-pin socket, because some of the ones which normally go as not used are actually reserved for what they call Hall effect sensors for various functions which most manufacturers don't actually use. But certainly, whilst there are 2 pins reserved for sound speaker decoders, I've not seen any what was I talking about? Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here. It's got so hot. There's not actually any pins for Stay Alives through the decoder socket. Right, J94 says, I have fixed a loco today. Boom! Excellent. James Pett says, yes. Oh, right, sorry. Yeah, there's a lot of people talking between themselves about Stay Alive. Stay alive, stay alive, says Tim's Model Railway in different videos. Right, we're nearly coming up to the time when we're going to be showing some of your videos, so that hopefully the Cupboard Monkey will reappear with a cold drink, maybe a pint of juice, hint hint. Oldmore Junction Model Railway says, I believe number 6000 worked very well on American coal when it visited the USA in the 1920s. Yeah, I think Pennsylvania has some good veins of coal, definitely. Wiven Model Railway says, just heard that my Hellion GT 18000 should be with me around the beginning of September. Absolutely, we mentioned that towards the beginning of the stream, that they are incoming. Yeah, Ham Shackleton, definitely. Somebody give Zoe a prod. I think she's gone to sleep. Right. What other news? Trying to think. I'm sure I had loads of news to give you, but yeah. Yeah, James Pets, the 470 microfarad 16 volt tantalum. These are capacitors. Oh, what you're after? They're very, very solid, effectively solid state capacitors. Really, really small, but do pack a good punch. It's what the brownout protection on the Zen Blue Plus and Zen Black decoders, I believe, use. Simon the Railway Enthusiast 83 says, we are one big family here on the YouTube and help each other out. Absolutely. Unfortunately, there are some YouTubers who like to keep themselves exclusive and pull the model, the ladder up behind them. But I'm a big advocate of helping everybody out and building the community. Alex Dent says, what's tonight's model news? Well, certainly the MDV and MDO wagons from Acura Scale are due at in the shops in the middle of September, and that is when the Jenny Monday Club exclusive wagon will start to be dispatched. There are a few still available, but you do need to get your skates on if you want one, because they are nearly sold out. And certainly when they start to appear on people's layouts, then demand is inevitably going to get quite big. Also, all of the other Akira Scale, MDO and MDV wagons will be available at the same time, including the special commissions from both Rails of Sheffield and the MC Metals livery, and from Planet Industrials, I believe it is, in their very, very distinctive sort of orange and black livery. Warbler Production says we currently use Scottish coal at Statfold, got a bit of sulphur in it unfortunately, so it burns with a yellow smoke. Also not so great for your boiler tubes. Sulphurous smoke effectively produces acidic soot, which can kind of eat away inside your boiler tubes. J94, the Sonic model LNER A5 looks cool. I quite like the great GCR green livery. And as I said at the beginning of the stream, hopefully we've arranged an absolute exclusive here for YouTube, being that I've managed to negotiate the loan of the engineering prototype livery sample for one of the Sonic models A5s, and we will be putting it through its paces, hopefully on the channel in a couple of weeks. So a big hello to Daniel Kiersey, great to see you in. Samuel Ives asks anything on the Genesis coaches. I have not heard any more, it has to be said, so I will chase that up. I think that we do need to just see where we are with those, because they are quite overdue. Right, Cupboard Monkey! Sorry, Billy's replacement, bang, bang, bang. Just hopefully the Cupboard Monkey will be along in a bit, and bringing a pint of juice with her would be very, very nice. Timothy Daniel says, how about some live Steam? Well, watch this space. There should be some coming to the channel. James Pett says, the A5. I should like to see that. Absolutely. Really looking forward to that. Currently negotiating to get loan of the A5 on the channel. Wiven Model Rail says sulphurous coal fumes when mixed with water produce dilute sulfuric acid. Absolutely. And Skipsy Train says, Jenny, in the process of restructuring Skipsy, changing the board from a figure of 8 to a figure O to help move around it, also fitting Alpha Box and power for some good old clean power. Absolutely. And of course as well, Alpha Central, really great and easy way to control your points, or go for Alpha Switch D. Richard Swiderski, any news on when your TV program is being aired? Well, I can't say too much about the content, but I recently prepared some more footage for them for use in it. I've been talking with them, and with Mother Rose says, you've just woken the dog, Jenny. Dim Dave says, Billy replacement butler, definitely. And Egg Rider says, when you need Billy's replacement ceilings, we will know that you stamped on the loft floor a bit hard. Michael Pollitt says, yes, Jenny, the Monday Club is a great platform for everyone's views, chat, general information, great show, and really friendly bland banter. Great. Oh, absolutely. Thank you very much. Yes, all I know is the autumn schedule. I don't think it's got specific transmission dates yet. And they're still in the edit. Apparently the episodes that I'm in look great, but I'm sure that they tell everybody that their episode looks great. But I provided some extra high-res versions of footage, such as one of the intros to my videos where I'm talking to camera. They got the raw footage of that. So they actually got some of my outtakes. Now, even you guys don't generally get to see the outtakes. I think we once did a Christmas special video where I couldn't stop laughing, but in all honesty, it's like I hope they don't use the bit at the end, because there's a bit where I really fluff my lines. But hey, Don Gets Mother Rose says, can you tell us which channel to watch out for this project on? Certainly, it's on the Yesterday channel. You can see about that tomorrow. No, sorry, a bit of an intro. What used to be UK TV... is it UK TV history, something like that? But yeah, in the autumn schedule is all that I know. Let's have a look. I'm sorry. There's a lot of people talking with each other. It's brilliant, and that's what I like about the community. That essentially people talk in the chat to each other, and it's one of the things that we really set out to do with the Monday Club, is to provide a community where people can talk with each other. Ben Teller asks, Jenny, can you get Alexa to wake Zoe up? No, we're going to have to. I might have to go down and fetch her in a moment. Tim's Mullerow in different videos goes, Zoe. Yeah, probably. Warbler Productions says, I think you need to do a special outtake video to show us mere mortals, but even you make mistakes from time to time. I'm very cagey about showing my outtakes because I'm always worried it makes me seem a bit of a wally. Larry Rogers asks, will those of us in the US be able to watch your program? Possibly. It's one of the satellite channels, and I do believe that some of their some of their channels are available in the US. So actually, I will ask about that. So watch this space. Melchester Monroe says Zoe has slipped out for a pizza. No, she had a pizza earlier on. We treated ourselves to a pizza. Right. J. Paul Anderson says Sonic Models Robinson A5 is sure to be a real looker, I reckon. It does look amazing, and as I said before, hopefully we've secured an exclusive look at the model here on the channel, so I'm really looking forward to that, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Oh, my juice has arrived. Thank you, Snuggles, because I'm getting a hoarse throat. Thank you so much. Oh, are we good to do videos?
I would rather, if you don't mind, have a special on Wednesday or something, where we caught up on videos and chat.
I might be away on Wednesday. I don't know whether you guys can hear her side of the conversation, but she's absolutely shattered. So we're going to carry over the videos. What we might do is do a special later in the week. I'm really sorry about this. I know a lot of people have sent in videos, but she is falling asleep on her feet. So we're going to have to carry that over. But look, you go back to sleep, Zoe. So I'm really sorry about that. Wiven Model Railway says first merchant navy was built in 1941. I know that somebody did ask that earlier on, but I can't remember who it was. Right, James Pett says, isn't looking like a Wally the point of outtakes? And Jennifer Garrett says, Charlie Bishop often shows his outtakes. They are hilarious. Mine are usually a bit sweary, and in all honesty with you, a lot of my outtakes, if I make a major fluff, I generally swear and then delete the recording and start the recording again. Partly because I don't want to overwhelm Zoe with recordings that she has to go through and go, well, there was nothing to use in that. But maybe I will. Maybe I should keep some outtakes. We can find some outtakes, and maybe we'll do that as a special for Christmas. Do a like 20-minute it'll be all right on the night type thing. Manthony 1956 says the US has two big internet channels with nothing but British content. BritBox and is that Acorn? Acorn. I heard of BritBox, has to be said. Alex Dent says, "Oh, don't do that." Do what? What? Outtake video? 20 minutes of outtakes. But yeah, a lot of people are sending their best wishes to you, Zoe, and she might be watching the stream downstairs in bed. But certainly, look, it's been a very long day. She pulled pretty much an all-nighter last night, and then we've walked out into town today and back, and whilst it started out overcast, it turned into a really hot day. Zoe is basically not solar powered. She is the opposite of solar powered in that the sun can basically suck energy out of her. Mike Reed says, hi Jenny, is your layout and can you expand more? Now this is my layout, and actually one of the mods we've just done, we've installed installed new drivers for the cameras that now let them to use the widestream in the feeds. So one of the things that you are actually seeing is probably about, let's just see, before you could only just see this row of locomotives. You can now see the row behind them. And on the other side, you can just start to see the edge of the signal box. And it's the same with all the cameras. Robert Cicera says, get well, Zoe. And going to the dog store says, evening all. Better late than never. Great to see you. Houston WHAP. Oh, right. Yeah, I did see that. A question in the Hornby magazine to win the model. And Simon Train's Model Railway showcases. When I was filming my vlogs in Scotland last week, someone suggested me to air the Scottish outtakes on YouTube. Charlie McGowan, big hello to you, says, hi, I just finished a live YouTube video, then realised you were on, so here I am. I hope you asked your audience to switch over as well. Don't forget to tickle the like button. It's really, really important for you to tickle that like button because it feeds the algorithm, and the algorithm is always hungry. It's feed me, Seymour, and share the video too. Dongit's Mother says, did the new camera drivers help with the missing cameras problem you were having? At the risk of tempting fate, so far we do appear to have retained all the camera views. Charlie McGowan says, didn't realise Zoe was ill. She is a sickly child. She's got lupus, so she does suffer a lot, and she has pulled an all-nighter, which hasn't helped. So T-Bone says, chuffing hell, your neck man. Is that where you are? You only just seen me neck a pint. Let's just say, don't challenge me to a pint drinking contest, because I can do 2 in a row back to back. I then feel very, very bloated off it, but I can down 2 pints back to back. Although if they're beer pints, I'll suddenly get very, very drunk, but there you are. Charlie McGowan says, actually I did, saying I didn't want to steal your thunder. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Mike Reed says, I slammed the like button. Did you body slam it? Did you clothesline and tombstone that like button? Boom! WWE represent. Actually, no, it used to be WWF, the World Wrestling Federation. But then there was also the World Wildlife Fund. And I always had visions of giant pandas body slamming their keepers, fishing about underneath the ring for some mysterious folding chairs that were always stored under a wrestling ring for some strange reason. Right, 3 steamies running are better than none, says Kelly Asher Trains. I actually put these on with you in mind because the theme for today is trains that don't often or ever get to run on the layout. So Butler Henderson's going round. I very rarely run that. We've also got the Green Gronk. Again, not a model I often run. The B17 has come out from time to time, but the Q6, for whatever reason, I just don't tend to run it. And then the Waterman Railways Class 20 doesn't tend to get a lot of love either. It is actually the screen used example from Filming Great Model Railway Challenge, funnily enough. It was our star locomotive because the one that Bachman brought didn't like all the point work and we had to swap it last minute. Manthony 1956 says, take care Zoe, lost a friend to lupus years ago. The sun is not your friend, unfortunately. Absolutely. And Richard Swiderski says, I press the like button gently because I like that like button. Oh dear. Right. Simon and Model Row Enthusiast 83, Steve all the way. Charlie McGowan says, among other topics, I spoke about why people do not subscribe. Is it a fear of having to pay something? No, I think perhaps with some things, it's just a case of maybe it's the same reason I don't have supermarket loyalty cards. It's like, I might come back, but I don't like people to feel like, that I have to come back. I don't know. There are a lot of channels that I watch without actually subscribing. Robert Cesare says, is that B17 propeller powered? No, but the B52 is. Samuel Ives says, I'm enjoying running my layout at night at the minute. The lights bring it alive. And actually, one of the things that I've done, and this is using the unused frog connections on my DCC Concepts ADS decoders. If we look, let's just go to, I think on, do we see it in the background? Oh, just out of view. So is it in view in this one? No, it isn't. Essentially, actually, we could go with this one. Well, right, have a look at the military academy at the back. Yeah, the military academy at the back. So if I go 23, select accessory 23, 1. Right. There we go. Can we see that? Right, so there we go. Military Academy, lights are on. Select accessory 23 and turn it off. Turn it on. It's good that, isn't it? You can actually use the ADS decoders to turn lighting functions on and off from your DCC controller. And it's just one of the little party tricks that they have. Right. Ben Tullett says, I am waiting to see what the hydrogen-powered Gronk they are currently building at the Severn Valley Railway will sound like once built. Is that actually just a refurb with engine conversion? I don't think they'd be building a Class 8 from the ground up. Right. Unfortunately, as I said before, Zoe is absolutely shattered. She does have lupus, and the sun came out quite strong whilst we were out in town, so she had to walk through really bright sunlight, which lupus sufferers don't react well to bright sun. Effectively, the UV light triggers a lupus attack. T-Bone, I love that name. I was like, T-Bone! Is that like your wrestling name? It's really good. Pile drive that like button. Oh yes, tombstone it like a pro. Oh yeah, scratch my back with a hacksaw. I'm just going off on one. Logan Clary says, I've never noticed that building before. Yeah, it's always in the background. There's not a shot which shows it close up. But it is fitted with lights, and I have used the frog connectors on my ADS, which are the accessory decoders for solenoids. That actually there's 2 channels which work points in the fiddle yard underneath. What that means is that if I'm not running trains in the fiddle yard down below, I can turn lighting functions on and off on the layout above, but you don't need a solenoid attached to an ADS channel to still change the frog outputs, which is just a relay switch. So let's go for that again. Turn it on, turn it off. Can you see those lights going on and off? There you are. Turn it on and turn it off. And I've got that for a number of buildings. All my lighting effects are now running digitally through the ADS decoder. Gone Loco, big hello to you. Back down from my attic, been painting panel doors for my station building. Back of my neck is stiff now. Oh, you've got to take breaks. And Cozzy118 BMK says, NCE cab or Gauge Master Prodigy. NCE all the way. Now, I do have both of them here, so you can compare side by side. Now, these, before anybody asks, this is running the layout. This is only connected to my programming track. This case is starting to break apart. It's not been dropped. The plastic is going brittle with age. It's only 3 years old. Yeah, I know. It's also, the Gauge Master puts spikes on your DCC bus, in that under certain circumstances you can send a 60-volt spike through your track, and it is known that it can blow decoders. So the NCE all the time. Also, DCC Concepts, while stocks, oh, I've got this the wrong way around. While stock lasts, do stock the UK version of the NCE Power Cab. I think it's £199.99 for UK customers. You can buy it overseas, you won't pay VAT, so it's about 140 or something, or 160. And it comes with a free curly cord, which is this cord, really, really useful, and a free Zen decoder of your choice. Right, James Pett says, I approve of digital lighting effects. I hope to have some on my layout when I get that far. And another tip for you is that this is, where's it gone? I'm just going to have a rummage. Now, I have managed to acquire a DCC Concepts Cobalt SS unit that has issues. It was getting thrown away because the issue it has is it won't drive the motors. The motor outputs are foobar. But the frog outputs, which are a relay output, still seem to work. I can hear them clicking when I set an address on this and power it up and address it. So I'm going to use this as a dedicated lighting accessory decoder. And I think it's going to actually work really, really nicely. So that is going to be a future project. I'm just going to chuck that in there out of the way for now. Now, what have we got coming up on the channel? We have got a review of the BT Well tank from the EFE range coming on Wednesday. Friday's video is adding points into an already finished, scenic and ballasted model layout, and I take on a project where I add a crossover to add operational flexibility into the layout. So it's a full-on how-to guide, talking you through the entire project from start to finish, which actually did work out pretty well. And yes, 60-volt spikes on DCC are bad. One might even explode a capacitor and a stay alive with that. I've not seen a stay alive fail in that respect, but what I have seen is what actually pops is the bridge rectifier on the decoder. And that would mean that the stay alive is probably protected, but your decoder goes dead short and shorts out the layout. This happens when when you have a locomotive running and you just hit the direction change button. So you go from full forwards to full reverse without taking the power down, reverse, and then taking it back up. Bus spike suppressors do help a lot, but it's when you look at something like a Gauge Master Prodigy on an oscilloscope, it's a very messy waveform. It's not the worst on the market. There is another brand that is quite shocking. I'm not gonna name and shame tonight. Timbersurf asks, are you going to get, which is Great Electric Train Show in Milton Keynes? Hopefully I am. It will be working though, so I will be there with DCC Concepts. And it does mean, just to warn you, that as I will be working, I may not be able to chat at great length with people. So just to warn you. AFD Comp says, good night all, I've got to go now. So good good night to Ham Shackleton, Southern Train Girl, as well as Jennifer and Zoe, and I hope that Zoe gets well soon. Thank you ever so much. Look, you do stay safe. Model Railway Noob says, I bought a power cab and it was faulty. I then bought a Gauge Master and no problem so far, but I use DC as much as DCC. Yeah, I mean, some people don't get the problem. It's just under certain circumstances, it can be an issue. I know I had about half a dozen decoders go pop before I fitted bus suppression spikes, which did admittedly take care of a lot of the problems. I then moved over to putting in a DCC Concepts Alpha Power and Alpha Box system, which removed the problems entirely. I then upgraded to an NCE power cab, and I've never looked back, to be honest with you. Absolutely really happy with the NCE power cab. It was definitely something that Ken Patterson on What's Neat This Week put me on to. It's certainly a product that he recommends greatly. And he wasn't wrong. So also a big up to everybody, the What's Neat This Week posse. Really great to see you guys as well. Timbersurf says, I may show up and show my face for the first time. Dum dum dum! Warbler Productions. I'm going to the Great Electric Train Show. Will be the only show I can get to this year. Train down to Milton Keynes, then get the shuttle to the site. And yes, James Pett says, I remember one of your decoders failing during the live stream in the past. Yeah, and it was a Hornby TTS decoder, which, whilst they're not the most expensive of sound decoders, they certainly cost about twice what your average DCC decoder does. So it still hurts when they blow. Right. Cameron Patterson says Pastimes in Glasgow is closed. Unfortunately. Oh, that is still. It's always sad to hear of the passing of a model shop. And Ian the Train says, Night Jenny, and still laughing at Fred the Weatherman. Yeah, we didn't know that he was a pedo. I'm sorry. Which is, if we'd have known, we wouldn't have worked with him. But was one of my very early TV appearances. Was teaching Fred the Weatherman in a series that he did on Granada TV to drive a steam engine. Melchester Model Railway says, Jenny, could you do an in-depth review of the NCE power cab? Yeah, I might be able to do that, actually. That might be a good one to do. So I will have a think about that, and we shall see. Watch this space. Mike Reed says, hey, Jenny, you should get the NCE Wi-Fi edition. Again, something to look into. Sir William Stanier says, Jenny, if there is a problem with a product, you should tell us who it is. I'm guessing it's Hornby, but you should tell us, really. The reason I didn't want to say is because I don't have first-hand experience of that particular product. But I have been told by a reputable source who did put it on an oscilloscope that it has problems. But I didn't want to say because I have not personally had a problem with it. But I've not used it either. Right. So as a few people starting to drift away now, we are coming up on 9 o'clock. I'm really sorry that we haven't been able to do showing some of your videos. Hopefully later in this week we'll do a catch-up live stream where we will go through your videos because, as I said before, it's always great to showcase some of the great modelling videos that are out there on YouTube. Remember that you can submit a link, not the video as an attachment, but a link to, Zoe at zoerobinson.com. And hopefully then we will be able to play them later on. Right, Warbler Production says, I have a power cab, need the circuit to connect it to after it got broken by my younger brother last year. I will get the DCC Concepts Alpha unit for it, I think. Yeah, I mean, the power cab, literally, I'm going to plug it out. Imagine the other end of this is plugging into the Alpha box via an Alpha panel, but all you need is this. The rest of the what comes in the box with this, you can either leave in the box or, as I have done, use it to power another smaller layout. So the base unit and panel that came with my NCE power cab is what powers Myneth Tatus. And when I want to run Myneth Tatus, I just take the NCE power cab handset, I unplug it from here, I trot downstairs and I plug it into the other panel and everything works. And that's one of the things that I really do love about the NCE power cab, is just how easy it is to move it from layout to layout. So effectively, if you get something like the Alpha panel from DCC Concepts, then you can use that plus a power supply as the base unit for your handset and just use it on as many layouts as you want. Cozzy118 BMK says, yes, my Hornby Elite has many flaws, that's why I'm looking to change. Yeah, that was the one I was talking about, but as I said, I have personally have no experience of it, which was why I was a bit cagey of reporting third-party experience of it. J95, see you later. John Nelson, you take care as well. David Scott heading off as well. Don't forget, before you go, if you haven't already done so, do please consider tickling the like button and sharing the stream as well. And if you're not subscribed, do please consider subscribing. I know that a percentage of you are not subscribed, so do please consider clicking the button and clicking the bell. It's a really great way to help the channel to grow. And Ham Shackleton, absolutely send your videos URL only please to Zoe at zoerobertson.com and put Jenny Monday Club in the title box. Don't forget as well that we have the merchandise down below. Check it out and you too can have your excellent piece of Jenny memorabilia to wear with pride at any show or model railway club. And the Jenny Monday Club wagon, available exclusively via Rails of Sheffield, who are handling the distribution, are imminent. That means that mid-September, I have been told, they should be starting to dispatch, and that is one to watch. I've got the pre-production here, so it is an Acura scale, fully spec'd MDV wagon with a completely different running number to any of the other releases that are out there. They are selling fast. Some of the other versions are now sold out, and we are nearly sold out, so do get in there quick because they are sure to become a valuable collector piece. Also, don't forget that the A5 from Sonic Models are actually hopefully going to be arriving sometime in the next few months, but I have hopefully negotiated to borrow one of the pre-production models to put through its paces and do a review of here on the channel. Look out for that hopefully in the next couple of weeks. But until next time, you guys take great care of yourself, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now. See, I am still here. Right, I'm going to have to go now. So it's been great. Ooh. It's been great having your company. Hope you stay well, and don't forget that we've got a video coming up on Wednesday, which is the full review of the BT Well tank, the EFE rail version, and we're going to be looking at how that compares to the original Daypole version, both of which, of course, were a Kerno Model Centre Special Commission. On Friday, we've got the installation of working points into a pre-existing, fully scenic and ballasted layout. Is this even possible? Well, I show you exactly how to do this to add extra operational interest to your layout, and look forward to a Thomas the Tank Engine review. Yes, that's right. I have filmed a review of some of the new Bachmann Thomas the Tank Engine models. That certainly is one to stay tuned for. And also on this channel, we're going to be having an exclusive first look for YouTube at the Sonic Models Rails of Sheffield A5 Pacific tanks. But until then, you keep great care of yourself, and I'll see you then. Bye for now. The awkward bit where I try and find where mouse pointers